Hey guys, it's Nisi. Welcome back to my channel, and I'm back with another video for you guys. So I know I am participating in Vlogmas, but there is so much going on that I just like, y'all gonna get y'all uploads when y'all get y'all uploads, because I really just, I'm kind of over it. Like, this video has been long awaited. I've been procrastinating on actually recording this video for a while. For one, I did not think I was pregnant at all. Like, I just kept saying like I wasn't. My boyfriend just kept telling me I was, and I was just like, no, you're fiending. Like, you just want me to be pregnant. Like, I am not pregnant. So I found out I was pregnant on June 12th. Okay, I'm gonna also include all my symptoms, all my earliest symptoms, even symptoms that I'm just now noticing that I really did not notice when it was happening. So yeah. So I found that I was pregnant June 12th. I was actually going on 5 weeks around that time. That Monday I was going on 5 weeks because that was a Saturday. So 2 weeks prior to me finding out, I went on a trip to Miami. I went to Florida for a Forex event, and obviously at the Forex event there was like thousands of people there. So that's actually one reason why I did not think I was pregnant. I thought I had COVID. For whatever reason, I thought I had COVID. Like, it was so many people. I was around so many people. I really thought I had COVID. Don't judge me, guys. I really thought I did. Okay. No, I left for Miami the 27th of May, and I came back, I think the 30th. When I came back May 30th, I got COVID tested, all that stuff before, once I landed and stuff. Oh my goodness, I did not have school that Monday, the 31st. Yeah, I did not have school because that was Memorial Day. So I had school on that Tuesday, which was June 1st. So June 1st, I kid you not, guys, this is when my symptoms really started to kick in, I guess. June 1st is really when my symptoms started to kick in. I started getting like nausea, but I was like, oh, maybe like that's just because like like, I don't know, I was just like making up excuses, like maybe I'm gonna just get my period or whatever, something like that, because I was supposed to get my period. Well, I had 2 period apps. Okay, one period app said the 7th I was supposed to get my period, and the other period app said I was supposed to get my period on the 9th. So I always sit back and say, okay, well, because one app will be like correct and then the other one won't be correct. So I will always like use both of them, because I don't know, it just like, I don't know, y'all, I just would use both of them because it was so much easier for me. So I always had a time frame of when I was supposed to get my period. So the 7th, so I always said like, okay, if one period app saying the 7th, the other period app saying the 9th, anywhere between there, day before, day later, I could be getting my period. So I always had that time frame. So June 1st, okay, I started getting nausea, but I was like, like, I normally get nausea anyway. I'm like, I don't know why, I just normally get nausea anyway. So I wasn't really like too like, oh my god, I'm nauseous. But like June 2nd and 3rd, I ended up getting headaches back to back. Like, it wasn't even a headache, it was migraines. When I got out of school, I went home, and when I got home, I actually got migraines back to back that lasted about an hour on the 2nd and the 3rd. And when I tell you, y'all, these migraines were different. Like, I normally get migraines, but these migraines was just different. This migraine, I was like, I felt like I was just so sick. Like, it made me feel so sick. And I thought I had like COVID, because I'm like, damn, like, okay, like, I'm getting this really bad headache. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I'm kind of freaking out in the back of my head, like, maybe I took a COVID test too early, like maybe, I'm bugging out. So I'm like, okay, like, let me relax. I'm like, let me relax, right? So these migraines, like, it made me feel like I had a really bad temperature. So, you know, I took my temperature when I did get these migraines, and my temp was slightly elevated. It wasn't nothing crazy, but it was slightly elevated. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, whatever. I drink an emergency because I'm like, you know, let me just drink one of these little emergency packets and I'll be okay. God forbid I do have COVID. Da, da, da. That wasn't the case because the June 3rd was the last day I got the headache. So I'm like, okay, like, all right, I'm not getting the headaches no more. So now I checked my period app, and obviously, like, I was like, okay, I'm supposed to get my period from here to here. So now that Friday, which is the 4th, I almost forgot. So that week, that on the 1st, June 1st, I actually started spotting for a couple days. I don't even remember how many days I spotted for, but I did spot that week. And I was like, okay, well, now I know my period is definitely coming.
Psych!
On the 4th, when I went to school, y'all, I got this really bad cramp. This, like, I thought it was like, okay, maybe I'm like about to get my period a couple days early, something, you know. No, y'all, I got this bad ass cramp. I remember this day because that cramp was something else. I was walking back to my station after washing my mannequin, and I just felt something like, it felt, bro, that cramp was really different. It was so sharp, bro. It was so sharp, and it just, like, I don't know, like, it just radiated so bad, like, on my right side of my stomach. And I was just like, bro, like, I had to stop walking. Like, that's how bad it was. I was walking back to my station, and I was like, oh my god, like, I had to stop walking, and I had to breathe because it was just so bad. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, okay, maybe I'm about to get my period to you know, like, tomorrow. Now, what happened? That next week comes, and mind you, I was telling my boyfriend, like, what was happening to me and stuff like that. You know, I tell him everything. So I was telling him, like, what was happening to me, like that. I didn't think it was like anything else. I was just telling him, like, you know, like, I don't know, like, I don't know, I just feel weird, like, you know, God feel like, what if I got COVID or something like that? You know, my body just going haywire. And I was just like, you know, but then I was kind of still making excuses because my boyfriend was like, oh, maybe, you know, I think you're pregnant, da 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 da, because he was sleeping a lot. His sleep schedule was like, so he was sleeping OD. He was sleeping OD. So he kept telling me, like, oh, well, I think you're pregnant. I think you're pregnant because my bro said whenever, you know, da da da, when their girlfriends was pregnant or whatever, they ended up sleeping so much and so. I'm like, now you're dragging it because
You're done. You're done.
Sir, no, you're dragging it. Relax. So I'm like, nah, like, I'm like, no, I'm like, you be up playing the game all the time. I'm like, I don't think I'm pregnant. Like, sir, I'm supposed to get my period on Monday. Like, what are you talking about? So, anyway, that Monday, which is the 7th, when I was supposed to get my period, I, you know, woke up, like, already about to get my period. You know, I woke up kind of on a prepared side to get my period, and I did not get my period. So I'm like, maybe I'm just like, maybe it's gonna come later, or maybe it's gonna come tomorrow. Like, I'm not even worried, like, da da da, like, I'm not worried, like, because I was also doing extra hours at school. So I was like, maybe my body's just being overworked. Like, I was doing so much. I was doing extra hours at school, and then on top of that, I would be up until 1 o'clock in the morning on trainings, then knowing I have to be up and ready on my way to school by at least 6:30. I'm like, okay, so I didn't get my period at 7, and I'm like, all right, whatever. So now this is when the fatigue kicked in, okay? And before I even get into that, I was having like cravings like for those 2 weeks, for the whole first 2 weeks of June, and I didn't really think nothing of it until now. So I'm like, I had to drink my tea. I had to drink my tea. If I did not drink tea, like I don't know, like I just had to drink my tea every morning. And I had to have oatmeal every day. If I didn't have oatmeal, I had to have bagel with cream cheese. And let's not even get into that because I was addicted to Sprite and Doritos. Like, now, the 7th is when all my fatigue and all that stuff just kicked in. Like, all of a sudden, I was just so exhausted. Like, everything just was like draining. So now I'm in class and I would just start falling asleep. Like, I'm a huge sleeper, but the way I was falling asleep was kind of just like, dang, did you even sleep the night? I would come home, you know, like I said, I would be on trainings until about 1 o'clock in the morning. So that was my normal schedule. I was used to that. Yeah, I got home. I started that week. I was coming home. I was falling asleep before 10 o'clock even hit. I was falling asleep. When I mean falling asleep, like light on, clothes still on, AC not on. I wake up sweating, my phone dead. Like, my schedule was all types of messed up. I was forgetting everything. Like, I had like certain like things planned out. Okay, I'm gonna do this, that, and I fall asleep for hours. Even this week, my nausea really was kicking in a lot more. It was kicking in a lot more. Like, I've always gotten motion sickness, but then I started to notice even my boyfriend started getting like car sick. He started getting car sick, so I'm like, you ain't never been car sick before. Like, he went to bring me something one day and he took an Uber and he got out and he was like, I gotta sit down because I feel like I'm gonna throw up. I'm like, what's wrong with you? He's like, bro, like I just got car sick. Like car sick? You ain't never been car sick before. Like, so now I'm not really questioning it too much, but I was kind of looking at him like, but he's like, nah, bro, like you gotta be pregnant because this don't make no sense. Like, I can't believe I just got car sick. He was tight. Now we get to like maybe the 9th and the 10th, 9th or the 10th, and I still don't have my period. I still don't have no period. No period. My discharge was back to normal. It was back to normal. So I'm like, so you're not gonna come? So my period not gonna come. I was like, bro, are you for real? So I'm like, okay, maybe it's just, maybe I need to just relax, all right? So my boyfriend is just like, yeah, you're pregnant. I'm like, bro, relax. So now the June 11th comes and I'm like, dang, I still don't got my period. So I told him or whatever, I'm like, I looked at my period apps because I was trying my hardest not to look at my period apps because I was in so much denial, y'all. I really was. I was in so much denial because I really did not think, like, first of all, let's get this straight. I did not think I could get pregnant. Like, I don't know why. Like, I just did not think I could get pregnant. Like, I just don't know. It was a weird self-diagnosis, but we here. So now the 11th come and I'm like, I was getting annoyed, more or less. I don't know why I was getting annoyed, but I was getting annoyed, like, kind of like you fiending, you just want me to be pregnant type shit. So I was saying that, I kept saying this, and I'm like, you just fiending, you just want me to be pregnant. So now Saturday comes and I went to class. I had to go to class on that Saturday. And when I got there, I actually got there like a whole hour late, which is really not normal because on a Saturday I'm usually up way earlier than the time I had to be there anyway. So it was kind of like, that was really odd for me, and I was rushing, and like I just looked a huge mess. Like, everything was just not working out. So now this day I found out I was pregnant. I got there, I was thinking shit was sweet. I had pads in my bag, all that, like, I'm probably gonna get my period today, or I'm gonna get it like probably next week. Maybe my period is just changing course. Yeah, I was just sitting there on my phone, and I felt something. I'm like, I think I just got my period. So now I kind of got hyped, like, oh, yeah, now I could tell him, like, he could stop bothering me, So I go to the bathroom, y'all. It's not my period. it was not my period. I did not get my period. It was just, you know, if you know, you know. It was a lot of it too. So I'm like, okay, well, that wasn't my period. Yeah, so I called him when I got out of class, and he just asked me like, oh, did you get your period yet? I'm like, no. I'm like, no. He's like, when are we supposed to get it? And I'm like, Monday. And he's like, well, your period is never this late. And I'm like, yeah, but you never know. Like, could be changing course. Like, I have been doing a lot and stuff like that. You know, I'm kind of questioning it in the back of my head, but I'm like, nah, that don't make no sense, because I did spot that whole week. So maybe it's, you know, and I don't normally spot before my period, but it happens to me sometimes. Oh, so now he's like, oh, you know, just take a pregnancy test, da da da. I'm like, bro, are you serious right now? Like, are you? I'm like, bro, like, just relax. Like, I was just trying to avoid the fact that I needed to take a pregnancy test. I don't know why I was. So, when I got out of class, yeah, obviously, I went to Dollar Tree. I was like, I am not going to pay $27 for a pregnancy test that a freaking Dollar Tree test could tell me the same exact motherfucking thing. I was so much to know. So I got home after going to Dollar Tree and picking up the test. I picked up 3 tests, and I'm sorry, there is a hair in my eye. So I went and got the test from Dollar Tree. I got home and I kind of was like, whatever, chucked it to the side, went to sleep. I went to sleep. I got home. I got home like maybe like 1:45, maybe 1:45 too. Got into bed, went right to sleep. Went to sleep, woke up like 7 something. Woke up like 7 something, mad confused. Then I called my boyfriend or whatever, because he had texted me like, oh, did you take the test yet? Like, when I was sleeping, and I'm just like, why is this boy being mad annoying or whatever? So I called him, and he's like, oh, did you take a test? Did you take a test? I'm like, bro. I'm like, no. I'm like, I obviously just woke up. You're bothering me. Like, oh my God. Like, all right, I'm gonna just take it right now. So we're on FaceTime. I go in the bathroom. You know, I do the thing. Put it in the cup, do a little drip, you know, drippy thing, whatever. Set my timer for 3 minutes, and maybe like a minute and a half passed. I turned my head. I'm sitting on the toilet. Alright. I was just scrolling on my phone, whatever. He's still on FaceTime. I turn my head, look at this. Turn my head, look at this, right? I'm like, okay. I had to process. Okay, I had to process what the hell I just saw. So now I turned back around like, oh my God. That's all I said. That's all I said. So he's on the phone. He's like, what? What happened? I'm like, I couldn't even speak, because like after I said, oh my God, bro, I started sweating. Bro, I don't even know how to explain how I was sweating, because I was not mad. I was not sad. I was not none of that. I was just like it was kind of the fuck moment. I don't know what it was. Like, I don't understand like how I felt in that moment, but I felt something, okay? So I just bust out sweating. So now he's like, what it say? And I'm like, bro, I just picked up the test. I picked up the test, turned the camera around, I showed him, just like this. And he's like, what that mean? I'm like, bro, I'm pregnant. He's like, oh, so my shit do work. Nigga, what? I'm not even joking. Like, I was not expecting him to say what he said, but then again, knowing my boyfriend, like, yeah, wasn't even really saying nothing. Like, I felt like I couldn't even get a word out. Like, it was even a struggle for me to say, like, I'm pregnant. Like, I could not, because like I was just so, I don't know what happened, y'all. Like, my body just like went into shock or something. So now I start thinking like, damn, like, who I'm gonna tell, like, what I'm gonna do, like, what's going on. Like, so now I text my closest friend, which is my daughter's godmother, right? I texted her like, bitch, I'm pregnant. So now she's like, and mind you, me and her did speak about this a couple days. I kept telling her like, yeah, like my period is late, but it didn't keep bothering me. Like, oh, you're pregnant. Like, I was complaining to her like, I don't know why you keep talking about that. Like, what the hell's wrong with this man? So I'm like, okay. So now I texted her. I don't even remember if she texted me back. I think she called me. And she was at work. And she calls me. She's like, what? I'm like, yo. I'm like, I'm so dead ass right now. She's like, what, bro? She's like, no. She's like, you took the test. Send me a picture of the test right now. I'm like, all right. So I sent her a picture of this test. Right? And when I tell y'all, these lines was bold as hell. Bold as hell. So I'm like, yeah. Right, so now she's like, oh my god. She's like, how many tests did you take? I'm like, I took one. She's like, you got any more? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yo, but bro, this popped up. These lines popped up on the test before the 3 minutes was done. It was like a minute and a half. These lines popped up. So she's like, what? I'm like, I'm so serious, right? She's like, no, you're not dead ass right now. I'm like, I'm dead ass. Like, I'm so serious. Like, that's what happened. So now she's like, oh my god, all right, take another one. So I went and I got the other test on my room. And I'm like, okay. So I do it. This time I'm dead staring at it. Like, I'm staring at it. Like, staring at this test. Because I'm like, you gotta be lying right now. So now I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm like, whatever. So what did I do? So now I'm staring at it. I set my timer, bro. Like, it was like 30 seconds, anywhere between 30 seconds to like a minute, anywhere between that. It said boop boop. I said this one popped up quicker than the next one. She's like, oh my god. She's like, oh my gosh, that's her picture. I'm like, bro, this is mad crazy. Like, what the hell? So I'm like, we're just on the phone for like 10 minutes. Like, oh my gosh. After that, my symptoms said, we gonna kick it up a notch. My nausea got so bad. I could not deal with the heat. Like, I would get so freaking dizzy in the heat. Like, so dizzy. So dizzy. I ended up starting to have only orange juice in the morning. Like, I couldn't drink anything else. I was just like, I need to drink orange juice only, and it had to be simply orange. Oh, bleeding gums. I experienced bleeding gums for like 2 days. That was the weirdest thing of like my life. And then my boobs, you know, as a female, when you start growing boobs, when you're young, you start growing boobs and it feels so bad. Yeah, imagine having them and it feels like you're growing them all over again when they're already on your chest. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, it hurts so bad. Like, it made me want to cry. Going downstairs, even like the slightest, not even nudge, it was like just like a slightest slide, just like something slide. If I walk too close to a wall and it just, I just tap it a little tiny bit, bro, that shock of pain through my whole body was ridiculous. All right, guys, so that is how I found out that I was pregnant. Okay, yeah, so much denial that I was. Okay, I was not expecting my family to react the way that they reacted. But yeah, so like, comment, subscribe if you guys want to see any more videos pertaining to, I guess, my pregnancy, whatever. I don't know, whatever y'all want. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what else y'all want to see from me. Give y'all a cute little bump update. I am now 30 weeks, y'all. I got 10 more weeks left. Y'all see all these stretch marks? It's crazy. They're gonna go away though, but they're not that bad. It's just since I turned 29 weeks, 29 weeks, I've been so freaking itchy. It's really ridiculous. I've been so itchy. Y'all, I've been so itchy. It's just crazy. Like, but anyway, that is it for this video, guys. I hope you liked it.